So I'm going to read an excerpt from this alleged memoir that I'm allegedly working on. I do want to say, and I think I'm going to get in a little trouble for this, but one of my aunts is here, and I grew up coming here every summer, and she used to take me to, her and my other aunt used to take me to different readings and expose me to so much literature, and I always said that they are the ones who taught me how to read, and they are the ones who really taught me that creativity is important, and they were both lifelong educators. So shout out to teachers, thank you for what you do. So it feels very special to be full circle. Also, free Palestine. Kim Jong-ye died the day she was born in the year of the wood rabbit. Her Oma, who was 21 or 22 at the time, when faced with an impossible decision, chose to return herself and Jong-ye to their ancestors, whose ashes mixed with the sediment that was carried by the Han. Sedimentary ashes that, over time, were washed onto the shores of the city, eventually spilling into forests, up into the mountains, and swept into the air and sea, back into the oceans and into other worlds, universes, dimensions across space and time. Mourned over only in secret by a solitary, silently sobbing rabbit, brown as wood, soft as the moon. She didn't mean to take her or her child's lives. At 21, 22, how could this girl, this young Oma, ever know that her decision meant the end of her and her bastard newborn firstborn child's existence? All she knew at that time was that she wanted to spare them both the complications and pains of trying to find their way together, just the two of them, in a world that she herself was in so many ways still a child of. Some will call it courage, others cowardice. Perhaps it was both or neither. Or perhaps it was the more complicated truth, that to survive is to agree to lose everything. What is certain is that she lacked an applied understanding of Newton's third law, and understandably was not indoctrinated into the white-goosed world of sing-song rhymes about eggs that fall. So how could she know that by signing those papers, by letting the forces exerted by the traffickers of Daehan Mingu bloodlines to the west take her child, that she was effectively ending both of their lives? How could she know when there were no funerals held, when there were no family members dressed in white and black hanboks beating their chests, wailing for her death or the death of her infant? How could she know when she found herself walking past what would later become exit 8 for Hapjeong Station, that the girl, the young woman she was now forever gone? That she had just paid survival's price with her and Jong-ye's lives, so that even if there was a finding, there could be no return, no resurrecting of the dead, no putting back together of all the pieces again. After all, she was walking. She could feel the biting December cold of soul on her cheeks. Surely these signs were proof enough that she was still alive, that she had and would survive. And even though she had her heart splitting into, and even though she had heard her heart splitting into two as Jong-ye wailed for her from behind doors now locked to her, she thought that time would make everything okay. After all, that's what her own Oma, the defier of time, had told her. And as her own Oma had pointed out, who didn't want to grow up in the West? Maybe Jong-ye would end up with a rich, wealthy family and attend one of those fancy universities, even more prestigious than where Jong-ye's Yangban-descended Appa had attended. Besides, she told herself, I left my name and address. She will come to me. I'll explain. I will cook for her. Time will make this better. No one having told her that language is the hidden cost that survival buries in the fine print. How could she know that there were some things that even time cannot mend? That for every action in nature, there is an equal and opposite reaction? That sometimes when we break our own hearts, we do so irretrievably, irrevocably, and they can never be put back together again? How could she know that signing those forms was to agree to incinerate herself and her child to ashes, to a dust that would scatter across the city, across oceans and continents, a dust so hauntingly specter-like that the reincarnation of Kim Jong-il would spend a seeming lifetime attempting to regather, reclaim, reshape, and respire life into. And Jong-il? It took her replacement close to 5 decades to begin to embody another complicated, shell-breaking truth, that despite her will, which was as strong, if not stronger, as that of horses and men, the life she had spent all of hers trying to put back together again could not be. That while she was the queerest spitting image of Jong-il, a byproduct of inhabiting her body since that cold winter's early morning in mid-December when wood rabbits jumped over the moon, that the life lost the day Jong-il was born, that the ashes and dust Jong-il and Jong-il's 21 or 22-year-old Oma had become could never be regathered, could never be reclaimed, reshaped, respired. How do I ever explain to anyone that while the person sitting here typing this is very much me, the me who is sitting here typing this is actually the parallel universe iteration of the Jong-il who died the day she was born in the year of the wood rabbit. And when Jong-il died, somehow, in defiance of space and time, ancestors whispered, half grinning, half weeping, calling to Jong-il's parallel iteration, me, who was transported from some other universe, world, to here like sedimentary ashes swept from the oceans to the sea, into the air, onto mountains and down into forests, eventually spilling onto the shores of the city and back into the Han, eventually washed into Daehan Mingu bloodlines, mooned over by rabbits, brown as wood, soft as the moon. The memory of moons and rabbits ahead of me, our hearts split forever into two, the river Han flowing through.